There's a conversation almost nobody wants to have. For years, people have heard that if a marriage isn't making you happy, leaving is the answer. But what if leaving doesn't solve everything? What if it creates a whole new set of challenges? Today, we're unpacking the rise of lonely divorced women, separating social media narratives from reality, and looking at why this topic sparks so much debate. Don't forget to drop your comment in the comment section. Let's dive in.
I'm having a big grief wave. I feel like as the weather gets nicer, the grief gets worse. Like, I don't want to do walks alone. I don't want to do parks alone. I don't want to do the pool alone. And yesterday morning, it's a cute story, but like, breaks your fucking heart. I was taking a walk with the dogs in Harlow, and it was like the first time that he's ever seen the concept of like blowing a dandelion. And so we're blowing them, and he turns and puts one to the sky, and he goes, "This one's for you, Daddy. Want me to blow it?" He goes, "Yeah." And then he blows it, and he goes, "Did you get it?" And there is nothing more unfair than that. There is nothing more unfair than that.
Nah, this wasn't about the mom. This wasn't about the dad. This was about a little boy who still wants his father to catch a wish floating through the air. And that's the part that gets me. Whatever happened between the adults, I hope that child gets as much love and time from both parents as possible. Because kids don't care who won the breakup. They just want their family to feel safe again.
My ex sent me a message that said, "As always, I'll make sure our children don't go without." And yeah, he's right, as always, because I haven't worked, and he's always paid for everything. So of course, he's always been the one to not make them go without. It just takes me back to feeling worthless, the feelings of worthlessness. And the fact that my self-worth is just gone still. And how easily he can just make me feel like I'm this big again. I don't really understand what that was. Like, was that just a dig at me? Because if it were up to me, they would go without. And I don't even understand, why even say that? Because you clearly know that I haven't worked for the past 7 years. Almost at 10 again. So no, I haven't made any money, and I haven't paid for anything over the past 7 years that our kids have been alive. So yeah, if it were up to me, they would have went without, because you were the provider.
Hold on. She actually answered her own question without realizing it. She admits he paid for everything for 7 years and made sure the kids never lacked anything. That's not an accusation. That's an established fact. Now, could he have worded it with more tact? Sure. But facts don't suddenly become insults because they hurt. The real issue isn't his text. It's that she's confronting how financially dependent she became. Accountability feels personal when it exposes a reality you've been avoiding. If this motivates her to build independence, that's a positive outcome. If not, she'll keep giving one sentence more power than it deserves.
I'm sitting here trying to pull myself together to walk into work. But divorcing someone who wants to take more than they already have is... I can't even express the level of exhaustion that I have. But my kids deserve stability. And he's already created so much chaos and uncertainty for the future and financial insecurity. I'm working my ass off to keep the house from being taken away from my kids. my ass off. I have been working my ass off. And all he's been doing is threatening to take it away. And what was supposed to be an uncontested divorce. He has fought me tooth and nail throughout this entire time. From the original agreement that we had. Now he doesn't want to pay child support. And he's hiring a lawyer to take everything else that he thinks is his. Because he is a selfish bastard who hasn't already taken enough. Hasn't already gambled enough. But our kids deserve stability. They deserve their home. They don't deserve any more uncertainty and to be uprooted any more than they already have. So I'm going to continue to fight this bastard. Even though I don't have anything left in me. And I am exhausted in a way that I can't even express. But I'm a mom first, and my kids deserve stability in the chaos that he created. So I'm going to fight him.
Here's what caught my attention. She says, I'm fighting for stability, but the minute the husband fights for what he believes he's entitled to, suddenly he's the villain. So let me get this straight. You can hire lawyers, file paperwork, divide assets, and that's empowerment? But if he defends himself in court, now he's taking everything? That logic only works if one side is expected to surrender. A courtroom isn't built for feelings. It's built to sort out competing claims. Wanting due process doesn't automatically make someone a bad father or a bad man.
Tomorrow's Christmas, and I'm just crying because of how hard it's been. And I feel like I'm trying to prove to myself that I can be strong this year. It's really painful dealing with the loss of everything and simultaneously dealing with these family pre-connections that I haven't spent Christmas with my family in 10 years maybe, I don't know. Maybe less. I don't know. And it's all this stress and anxiety. I'm dealing with that, and also not having my husband.
So one of the key takeaways from this one so far is her environment. Notice all of the environmental things she was saying, okay? None of her friends are married. None of her friends are divorced. So presumably they're either single or in somewhat short-term relationships that aren't very serious. She's posting this entire story on TikTok, and it doesn't seem like there's any influence with the family there. She hasn't spent the holidays with them in 10 years. Something is going on there. So it seems like it's a combination of horrible advice from her single friends, chronic TikTok use, and the seeking attention.
Having to retell the story of what happened. So many people asking me if he cheated on me, and having to tell them that he did.
That he did cheat, okay?
It's Christmas, I don't want to talk about that.
So now with new updates to the situation, apparently the guy cheated on her, okay? I do see that as a genuine reason to break up, okay? But if they agreed to a monogamous relationship, he said, I will not be with any other women. She agrees and probably did the same. In that situation, I feel like it's justified for a breakup because he told her that he would be monogamous. That was the presumable agreement, okay? This was the contract that they signed to get into this relationship. And the thing is with male cheating, I think women mainly have a problem with it because you're lying to them and you're keeping secrets from them. That's really what I think the main thing is. I don't think it has much to do with the act itself, really at all. It's much more so to do with you lying and being dishonest. So in that being said, in situations like this where the man cheats on the woman and then they break up, those relationships are more salvageable than the other way around. A woman cheating is just absolutely unacceptable. And I know I'm going to see you guys in the comments, oh, what are you saying? We're the same. We're 100% equal. No. Sex for men compared to sex for women, completely different. Anyway, let's move on to the story.
First off, if he cheated after agreeing to a monogamous marriage, she's justified in ending the relationship. That's accountability. And nobody should excuse breaking your word. Where I hit the brakes is when the conversation turns into men cheating is easier to fix, women cheating is different. That's an opinion, not an objective fact. Trust is the foundation of a relationship, and once it's broken, both men and women have the right to walk away. I do think her isolation matters, though. No close family, no married friends, and processing everything online can make an already painful situation even harder. Divorce is emotional enough without turning TikTok into your therapist. The real lesson here is simple. Protect your integrity before you have to protect your peace.
So, I just left the lawyer's office. Divorced. You know? Divorcing the person you love who chose to have an affair. It's not for the weak. He walked in with a Coke and a Snickers for me, which is my typical breakfast. Tried to hold my hand in the lobby. Said this wasn't what he wanted. That's what being married to a narcissist is like. We were taken upstairs and separated in conference rooms. He was on one end, I was on the other. As I'm sitting there, he starts liking old text messages. That's what being married to a narcissist is like. So during the entire time, which was about 2 hours, I didn't touch the Coke or the Snickers. After I signed and started to cry, I left in a hurry. And I set the Coke with the little paper still on top in the Snickers bar on his truck. Sends a louder message. I don't want anything from him. I don't need anything from him. I just wanted him. And he couldn't be that. So this is just a honest video that I'll be okay, but hurts a lot. So now I get to go to work and pretend that everything's okay while I'm crumbling. Thank you to everybody that's been so nice and supportive and helped along the way. It's done.
Look, if he had an affair after committing to the marriage, that's a betrayal, and she has every right to end it. But I also think we throw the word narcissist around way too casually these days. Buying someone breakfast or trying to hold their hand during a divorce doesn't automatically prove manipulation, and it doesn't automatically prove sincerity either. People can feel guilty after blowing up a marriage. Those emotions can be real. The affair is what matters here, not trying to psychoanalyze every gesture afterward. Once trust is broken, sometimes the healthiest decision is to walk away, no matter how painful it is.
Dating after divorce, you're thinking, yes, I've still got it. I'm going to make this right. I'm going to find myself a mature man. Ugh. 5 horribly brutal truths that no one prepared me for. The amount of men with STDs, despite the fact that many have been in monogamous marriages for decades, is 1 in 5. And men that are divorced, they don't want to use protection because they weren't using protection in their marriage. The use of condoms plummets with age, which means your chance of an STD and your chance of a later in life unwanted pregnancy is through the roof. And even a conversation around birth control, it's not going to go well. Men at this stage love watching popcorn. No one's monitoring their phone use. They're not worried about their wives walking in on them anymore because they're single. So you're competing with that. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. Addictions fill the loneliness gap. So many men at this age and stage have addictions. Whether it's weed, gambling, drinking, fitness, they're obsessed because they've used these things as a way to cope with their post-divorce loneliness because they don't know how to have real relationships. Even the high functioning addict looks put together, but just watch how they're coping with stress. Because if every problem is numbed with one of these things, just run. Emotional availability is just not present. You would think, having gone through a divorce, that they would be doing the work on themselves, but most men have not healed. They're not doing it. They're just rebounding into other relationships. They do everything they can to avoid facing themselves and doing the work. Just ask them about their last relationship. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. And the dating pool, the pool that you actually want to get into, the one that is vacuumed and clean and clear, is so itsy bitsy, teensy weensy. You're going to feel like there's no one out there in the whole world, even though everyone around you is divorced and available. If you feel like the pool is just the size of a shot glass, that's good, because that means your standards are high. Do not lower them ever. It's so important that you're aware, because I was not, and you need to know the landscape. I really wouldn't recommend doing it at all.
She listed every flaw she could think of. STDs, addictions, emotional unavailability, porn, loneliness, and somehow they're all men's problems. Then she says, don't lower your standards. Here's the irony. If every quality man is so rare, why would that quality man automatically choose someone who's bringing just as much baggage from divorce? Standards work both ways. Everybody wants a healed partner, but not everybody wants to do the healing themselves. That's the conversation people keep avoiding.
Hi. I wanted to come on here and kind of share about my emotions and my thoughts for today.
Why exactly?
So today is December the 26th, and today I would have been married for 19 years.
It's a long time.
I've thought about this day for a few months now, and was kind of thought about, how I would feel about today. If I'd be happy or sad, and I'm sad. Even though this is something that I chose, because it was something that I needed to do for myself, doesn't mean that today is not hard. When you have spent your whole childhood and life with someone at the age of 15 until just, May of this year, it comes with all kinds of emotions.
Wow, almost 20 years. Surely you divorced him for a big reason, right? Maybe he cheated, or maybe he's been harming you physically. Surely it's not because of irreconcilable differences, right?
Getting a divorce was not easy.
Right.
Apart from losing my mom to COVID, this is one of the other hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. And I have an idea of a divorce that it would make things better. Because, in a divorce, it's you and him, and if it's not working and people still haven't got a divorce, then you think that, or I did anyways, I thought that it would be better. Our kids are older, they're 20 and 18, so it's not like we have to share custody or anything like that. So I thought that it would just be better, his relationship, his children would be better, and in his relationship as far as, communication or being able to, not put up with each other anymore.
I'm curious behind that logic. She thinks for them splitting up, he's now going to have a healthier relationship with his children.
19 years together isn't something people just erase overnight, so I understand why she's emotional. But one thing stood out to me. She expected the divorce itself to improve everybody's relationships. Sometimes leaving an unhealthy marriage is the right decision, but divorce isn't a magic reset button. It often creates new challenges alongside solving old ones. If the marriage was beyond repair, that's one thing. But expecting separation alone to strengthen a father-child relationship isn't always how life works. Peace has to be built after divorce. It doesn't automatically come with the paperwork.